All right, hey, welcome back, folks. I was originally going to do a video on this snazzy SureFire SOCOM can and the accompanied WARCOMP. However, the video took on a life of its own, and I was really powerless to stop it. And what's going to be the end result is, yeah, you're going to hear about this stuff. It's going to be really good. But I wanted to give you the criteria for which you should be choosing a muzzle device, specifically a can. How do you find the right suppressor? Some people call these silencers because that's the name on the actual patent. It is technically what it is by naming convention. However, some people are quick to say, hey, silencers don't actually silence a gun. It's not like it is in the movie, unless it's this gun, which is 300 blackout subsonic ammo with a SureFire SOCOM 30 cal can. That thing is darn near silent, and I carry around a 22 everywhere I go in my EDC pack that has a silencer on it, and it kind of does a silencer. But on a 5.56, it is so far away from a silencer. So I'll use typically the word suppressor or can so that anti-silencer word crusaders don't throw rocks at me. So suppressor, can, whatever your fancy. Anyway, what I've found is when people don't really know a lot about how to select suppressors, and you're new to the game, you're being like, what is just a good overall can? They're typically just looking at one real criteria, and that's how quiet will it make it? And really, especially if you're in the world of a 5.56 AR-15, silent, you're never going to get really silent. The round is just too fast, 3,000 feet per second. It's just going to be loud no matter what. And the best you can really hope for is trying to get it hearing safe so you don't have to have ear pro and you can still shoot it. That's pretty much it, but you're so far away from doing something that you could do with like a 300 blackout or an other caliber that is easier to suppress silence, right? So let's understand that it's not just about eliminating how loud it is. There's a whole bunch of criteria. And I'll also say that if one can maximizes one really, really well, oftentimes it'll leave something else that it doesn't do quite as well. So it's a bit of a sliding scale. I love the SOCOM because it's just a good general overall can. It's was adopted by Special Operations Command. That's why it's called the SOCOM can. So what that means is the most dangerous warfighters in the world that do this as a profession have access to all this stuff, chose this can over all other rivals because it really did the best job overall. Without further ado, let's jump into the criteria, and I'll make you a nice snazzy list right up here. First off is back pressure reduction. Sometimes when you shoot a can, all these gases get bound up in the can and it'll come back at you and just burn your eyes, makes it hard to see, and it just makes a nasty experience altogether. So back pressure reduction. By the way, guys, these are in no particular order. It was just in the order that they happen to pop in my brain. Also, sometimes back pressure will keep your rifle from running smoothly, and it can also dirty it up really bad, foul it up, so it's a nasty shooting experience, and it can cause bad stuff in terms of reliability. So back pressure reduction. Number two is size. How long is the thing and what is the diameter? Another thing is weight as well. There's a third criteria. Fourth is sound suppression. This is usually the one that everyone runs after as the most important thing. And if this can does 2 decibels less, then they'll think that that's the best can. And that is not the case unless that's the one criteria you have to maximize. Next thing is flash reduction. For a warfighter, this is really important. We know in a warfighting context, if you're fighting in a low light context, to have a bright flash means every bad guy's muzzle are gonna be like, whoa, there's a bright light, and they're gonna shoot at you. So that as much as you can possibly reduce your light signature at night, that is a really good thing. And some cans do better than others. Oftentimes there's the first round flash. This one is supposed to eliminate that. So even when you have a can that reduces muzzle flash, and this will eliminate 99% of all muzzle flash, the very first round oftentimes will throw out a flash. So anyway, they don't all do the same job. Another thing is a quick detach. Some are direct thread application and others have some type of QD mounting mechanism. Now, if you have a QD mount, it's only going to work on that specific muzzle device it's made to witness with. So if you have a A2 bird cage and you want to put this on, make sure you bring a lot of duct tape and super glue. And by the way, that's a terrible idea. Don't actually try to do that. But if you do try to do that, video it and send it to me for review when you shoot it. All right, moving right along. Accuracy shift is the next one I want to pinpoint. Sometimes a can, when you put it on, you'll have 1 0, and then when you take it off, you'll see an accuracy shift. And so you'll have 2 different zeros, one for your can on and one for your can off. That's not too problematic if you have decided to just always have your can on. Like this can is dedicated to this gun. I never take it off, and you can see I've even got the rail over the top. So the can comes down to here. So the gun is really, really short, and this is a 300 blackout. So anyway, the muzzle device would normally be right about here, but my overall length, man, this gun is super fun to shoot. And that's a dedicated can. Whereas on this gun, I take this can off and on and put it on other guns as well. But a quick detach is a really cool feature I like for most of my stuff, unless it's dedicated, but I want to make sure that I don't have accuracy shifts. Furthermore, it's possible to have one can where you thread it on, and then you zero and you're good to go, take it off and then put it back on, but somehow the threads didn't kind of line up just as it was before, and it's possible to see accuracy shifts. 2 more criteria: longevity. If you put this on a machine gun and just went full cyclic for 2 minutes, what would happen to this can? Is it just going to explode? So how resilient is it to fast heating up? And so that'll be the longevity of the can. If you're just plinking with a can, your can's going to last you a long time. But if you've got it mounted on a 240 Bravo, that can better be rated for machine gun, and you can heat it up a whole lot without it destroying the can quickly. So what is the longevity of the can? How hot can I get it? How long can it stay that way before it starts to jack up your can? The final criteria is price. Out of all these criteria I've just listed, let's return to the SOCOM. SureFire has other cans. This is just their best seller, and for good reason. I like other SureFire cans, but these are both SOCOM. So this is the SOCOM 556 RC2. It is awesome. It is 6.3 inches long. When you put it on the muzzle device, though, it's only adding actually 3.8 inches because the muzzle device comes up here. So about 3.8 inches, and then I just screw it down, and now that can is not going anywhere. To take it off, I basically just push this button, twist it around, and take it off. If you've been shooting it a lot, probably don't grab onto that thing, or you will not have a hand for very long. So real quick mounting application, find the spot, there it is, and then just screw it on really quick, on and off. If I went through all the features of this can now, back pressure reduction, it does very, very good job. The size, I already told you, 6.3 adds a total of 3.8 inches on. That is not bad at all. The weight is 17 ounces. Sound suppression is okay. It's 133 decibels at your ear, really 140 decibels. If you're seeing 140 decibels for less than a second, your ear can take that without permanent damage. You wouldn't want to do that indoors, obviously. And if you're going just pop, 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 pop at 133, that could be bad. So wear hearing protection. Still, it's a little bit uncomfortable even at 133, but you can do it. So there you go. Flash reduction is awesome. And what I'm going to do in this video, I want to take a look at this real life flash reduction. Now they're making the claim that these flash hiders, the SureFire WARCOMP, which I love this thing, and your SOCOM's eliminating 99% of all flash. I want to put that to the test on the range. So make sure you don't check out early here, because what I'm about to do is take you out to the range, and we're going to get a baseline just shooting a 5.56 with no muzzle device, a pistol with no muzzle device, and then we're going to start looking at WARCOMPs and then other brands, compensators, different length barrels, and we're just going to take a little test so that you can see with your naked eye exactly what these are doing in terms of flash reduction. This did very well, by the way. Quick detach, as you saw, really, really great. Accuracy shifts, I'm not seeing them. Longevity, these are tough cans. They're going to last a very long time, but the price kind of sucks. This is going to be close to $1,000. And then you got to do your stamp, which is $200. On top of that, it is legal for civilians to own suppressors in the United States, unless you live in some awful state that strips you of your freedoms, or the District of Columbia, where I'm pretty sure you're not even allowed to have a picture of a gun because they suck with gun stuff. Next, I want to look real quickly at this 300 blackout can. This is a 30 cal can. This is their SOCOM 300 SPS. It's a really good one. The back pressure reduction does a really good job. Size 7.9 inches, but it's adding 5.4 inches when it's on the muzzle device. It weighs 3 ounces more than the SOCOM RC2 for a total of 20 ounces. And this one is doing 124 decibels. That doesn't sound too impressive impressive to many that it's just reducing it by 9 decibels. But man, this gun is awesome. Like really, really quiet. The action of the bolt moving into the buffer tube is the loudest part of it. I mean, it's really, really quiet. So I'm very impressed with the 300 Blackout can. It's awesome. So I took a look at these different cans and I showed you the different criteria, and I told you that the SOCOMs were a really safe bet for a good all-around can, but of course it's expensive. You can get cans that cost half that much, but don't be surprised on that sliding scale of criterion. It's going to rank really well in some ways and really poorly in others. Again, this is a great all-around one. I don't care what you get, just know what you're getting and understand that everything you get, you give up something. The last thing I wanted to talk about before we hit the range and we start looking at the flash reduction stuff is the SureFire WARCOMP. This is probably my favorite all-around muzzle device. A flash hider is really important in a warfighting context because it's eliminating that flash and making sure that if you're fighting a low light context, all the enemy guns aren't pointing straight at wherever you shoot from. So flash reduction is a really big deal to me. However, compensators and brakes are really cool because they keep your muzzle from jumping up. Truth be told, with a normal AR-15, if you're managing recoil well and you know how to really get into that gun, they're really not moving a lot. I am just fine rocking and rolling with a normal AR-15 and the standard flash hider. I don't need a compensator and brake. Yeah, a good compensator or a brake that just keeps the gun still so it doesn't lift up at all is a dream when you're doing some competitive shooter type thing, which is really cool application. But the negatives of a compensator is that it's throwing gases up. Sometimes that flash from the compensator can rob your night vision. It gives away your location. It can throw concussion left and right and up so that any buddies around you can be eating that. You can really hurt them in some context if they're close enough. And then if you're just at the firing range, everyone's going to hate you because you're throwing out so much light and noise and gases. The concussion of standing beside somebody with a really loud breaker compensator, it just sucks for everyone except you. It's like shooting a machine gun. When you shoot a machine gun, everyone hates you and you think you're awesome. I feel the same way. Every time I shoot a machine gun, I'm like, everyone loves me, but no one does because it's loud and it's obnoxious. All right, it's time to hit the range though, so let's go see what these do in the dark. Here we go. All right, this is a 9mm pistol, no muzzle device. Press 22 pistol. All right, this is a 16-inch 5.56 no muzzle device. All right, 16-inch 5.56 flash hider is just standard birdcage. All right, this is a competing brand's compensator or brake. 16-inch gun, 5.56. All right, 16-inch gun, 5.56. This is the SureFire WARCOMP. Looks like a 10 or 11-inch muzzle out of a 5.56. with a SureFire WARCOMP. Same gun, it's about 11-inch barrel, 5.56 with a SureFire can. All right, this is a 16-inch gun, 5.56 with a SureFire suppressor on it. This is an 11.5-inch barrel, 5.56 with the Arcadian Armament super tiny can. This is a 300 Blackout out of an 8.5-inch barrel with subsonic rounds and a SureFire can. All right, folks, hope you enjoyed that. And in fact, you should have enjoyed that. Shooting's fun. Even though you didn't get to do it, you got to see me do it. I had enough fun for the both of us. This video has been about the different criteria for selecting a good suppressor so that when you go out and you want to get one of these, you're dealing with a full deck here. You can make a good decision based on your unique context, right? Go ahead and comment down below in case I missed something in this video. Share your experience, something that surprised you, something that you learned, or you just want to take a shot at the poet and tell me how stupid I am. By the way, I don't refer to myself in the third person. I did it as a bit of a joke, but some will take it seriously because it's the internet. Anyway, guys, make sure you share this video, subscribe, hit the notifications bell to all, and we will see you next time. Train hard, train smart.